It's Tuesday, August 19th. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, North and South on the NES.
Let's do this.
It seems like every year our kind of retreat to Wildwood on the beach for a week is kind of pervaded by a different game. I mean, it was Advance Wars that one year when we went to the store and bought all the Advance Wars they had.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, I think, right?
Yeah, and then the year after that, it was Pokemon. Everyone, we were into Pokemon to a frightening degree for that one summer.
We sure were. Well, it was mostly, it seems like DS releases, there's always a hot DS release around that time of the year, or GBA release, what have you. And when we get together for a week and you're not at the beach all day, you're at the beach maybe half the day, maybe 4 or 5 hours, you're going to spend some time in the house, eating lunch, hanging out. And you're not going to just watch movies that whole time. You gotta,
you do.
You gotta play some DS and some GBA.
The thing is, we do watch movies the whole time, but we also play games.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, it was Pokemon. This year could be summed up in 2 words, Civ 4. Oh my gosh, did I play a lot of Civ 4?
I didn't actually play Civ 4. I was mostly playing on my DS because I have that.
Yeah, you and Pete were the weirdos. You were playing Etrian Odyssey.
Well,
and
Pete was playing Pokemon.
Pete is a year behind. The thing is, Pete admitted that the only reason he was playing Pokemon is because he's stupid, for one.
Well, okay, so check this out. Check this out.
He didn't have a laptop.
Well, I know he doesn't have a laptop. Him and Scott Johnson need laptops. But the thing is, Pete, stupid as he was, used his Master Ball to catch Dialga, which you can catch with a regular Pokeball. It's so easy.
The funny thing is, because I didn't know this, but apparently everyone else in the crew did. So at one point, I'm like, Pete, it's really easy to catch Mesprit. What the fuck are you doing?
Just use the Master Ball.
And he looks at me, and it was like a child confessing to a priest. He bows his head, and shamefully and almost under his breath, he said, I already used it. To which I said, what? On a fucking Geodude?
Yeah. He's like, that's a good joke. 6 Geodudes can't lose.
I can't lose. And he's like, no, I used it on Palkia or what,
whatever. Probably because I can understand you get to it, it's the real important Pokemon. You think it's going to be hard to catch.
But you know how games like that work. That's never the case.
Yeah, that's going to be the easy one to catch. The obvious legendary Pokemon. It's the non-obvious legendary Pokemon that are hard. I mean, if you're not going to use it on the Mesprit, at least use it on the Magma, whatever the hell it is, in the island after the end of the game.
Oh, that thing's not that hard either.
I caught that too without a Master Ball. I used my Master Ball on the Mesprit. I'm not an idiot.
I think he's a Dusk Ball on that thing.
A Dust Ball? would be pretty cool to see someone who is so crazy with the Pokemon and basically started and restarted a game of Pokemon.
Master Ball collection?
Basically had caught them all. Not only did they catch every Pokemon, but they have every single one of every Pokemon in their box, and each one is in a Master Ball.
Oh, I can do that. I just don't want to.
Oh, really?
No, I can. I'll hack the game.
Yeah, it's pretty much the only way. It would still
I got Goldeen in my Master Ball.
It would still be wicked. Think about how intimidating that would be, though. If you go to fight someone in a game of Pokemon, right? And you don't know which Pokemon they have, but you see the balls lined up. And usually they're all Ultra Balls and maybe a couple Pokeballs because, it was their first Pokemon. They leveled it up all the way, so it's still in a Pokeball. You go to someone, they have 6 Master Balls lined
and
up.
6 Geodudes.
I can't lose. Okay, that's enough Pokemon.
All Geodudes, no items, final destination.
That's enough Pokemon talk.
I just, the year we played Pokemon, I was playing Pokemon, and I remember the moment, because that was the kind of peak of my Pokemon fervor, because I'd never played a Pokemon game before. So if you've never played a Pokemon game before, Pokemon is awesome for about a month. And I remember I hit the peak when I realized, wait a minute. The hell am I doing? And I pretty much stopped playing. Was the 5th night at the shore. We were trying to watch, I think, SARS Wars again.
I don't remember.
We were watching SARS Wars, I think, and I was frantically trying to level up my something or other to get the points, to do the whatever, and I looked at myself, and I just ripped the game out and didn't play it again for like a week.
Yeah. I played it, I beat it, I caught, all the things that are obvious. I didn't go into the store to get, the ones you had to go to Toys R Us or anything.
No.
And
but watching Pete play that Pokemon, it was kind of like, I imagine it's the feeling that a lifelong alcoholic has when he's finally given it up. He's kicked the habit, and he's sitting in a bar watching someone drink himself into a stupor.
Yeah.
It's just Wow Pete.
No,
Play some Civ 4.
But I'm playing Etrian Odyssey 2, which is sort of this torture. Did I talk about it on the show before?
I think you mentioned that you were
I
playing
think I
it.
mentioned I was thinking about getting it. But anyway, but before I got it, I was torn on it because on the one hand, it's an awesome maze game. And on the other hand, it's a JRPG leveling up game. And I'm playing it now. And you know what? It's half maze game, half JRPG questing game, and it's just like I thought it was going to be.
Is this one of those games where it's just good enough to keep you playing?
Pretty much. I've been on the verge of not being able to tolerate it a couple times. One time, GameFAQs saved it, right? But now, and it's sort of like I couldn't beat this boss, so I couldn't go to any new areas, so I couldn't do any more mazing. So then I got on GameFAQs to help me beat a couple quests real quick that were real easy and took almost no effort. And then I was able to beat the boss, and now a whole nother level of the game is opened up, and it's super amazing. And I'm like, oh, man. So I think the game is pretty much like every 5 floors, it's going to throw another boss at me.
See, I think the only reason why that game wouldn't, like, I'm not going to make the, I mean, I'll play it so we can talk about it, but I know why the game will not draw me in. I still have somewhere, probably in Arizona with all my other junk that'll eventually get shipped out this way, including all my Legos. Oh, man. But I've got all the grid notebooks filled with maps of fucking Ravenloft when I was trying to beat that game in the pre-GameFAQs days.
Whoa.
Let me tell you, I had maps of like every game. In fact, I still have, and I treasure this. It is a piece of lined wide rule paper, and on it, as a kid, on both sides, I had drawn maps of Zelda dungeons. While I played.
Whoa.
I feel like that's a precious artifact. Like
See,
I should sign it and put it in a museum.
I have the complete map of Zelda 1, first and second quest in my brain, so I don't need it on no paper.
Where are, Scott, the silver arrows in the second quest?
They're in the final dungeon.
Where in the final dungeon? Because I can go to a map and tell you exactly where.
Well, I'd need a map, and I would show you exactly where.
But I have the map. I thought the map was in your brain.
It is, where you can't see it.
But apparently you can't see it either.
Well, I can't,
Okay. But yeah.
Actually, towards the end of the second quest, the map gets a little fuzzy. But you ask me any other more easier questions, I'll tell you right away.
But Civ 4 was the game of the week. And if anything, I really want to play another game of Civ 4 with all you foreign people because that was really fun. But we're not playing on marathon mode. Oh, my God.
Really, if you play online, if you play with only 2 people and you're real dedicated and you got nothing better to do, marathon mode can work. But with a lot of people, you got to play the quick modes.
You forget, you can play with a lot of people if you set up the every other week on Sunday from 4 to 6, we will continue this game.
Yeah, I really think the email is the way to go, but not marathon mode either, because then the game will last for years, and by then Civ 5 will be out.
The email, the only problem with it is that the first, hour worth of play is basically not fun with email mode. But after that, it's real fun because then you kind of micromanage everything. And because you play kind of sporadically, micromanaging doesn't feel bad and you learn a lot more about the game. And it's really fun.
Yeah, because then I could actually, if I was emailed, I feel like my biggest problem when I play the real-time game, right, is that on every turn, I just sort of want to get forward quicker. So I won't take my time and actually look at everything.
Because if you do take your time, you get that rumble on the Skype of, take your turn, take your turn. Oh my God, take your turn. Bevagung, fuck.
Right. So if I was playing an email game, I could spend like a good 10 minutes a day looking at every single city, managing every single unit into the exact right spot, examining all the territories, looking at my science, managing all my little taxes, meters.
See, the thing is,
and then
all you have to do is play the game a little bit, like play it more than you have now, and you'll just do that automatically without thinking.
See, the thing is, I never did those things in Civ 2, which I played for years and years and years.
Because you always played Civ 2 in the, I'm on an island by myself with all the land, and everyone else is on a tiny island together dying.
Yes.
Thing is, I think I beat the game. I got like 16,000 normalized
Actually, I didn't
points.
put them on a tiny island together dying. I put each of them on a separate island, so that way none of them could possibly get any more land. And because they were on a single square, they couldn't get any production to build any boats.
You would make a terrible god.
Except for my people. Well, no, my
chosen people, yeah.
Chosen people, excellent. All other people fail.
Fine, you'd make a great monotheistic god.
And the thing is, I'd get these crazy high scores without cheating because I just made a map.
That's cheating!
I didn't have to go to the cheat menu.
It's
Notice the
cheating.
cheat menu's not there anymore.
Yeah, thing is, unlike Civ 2, where I get maybe because I played Civ 2 so much that I got so bored with it that I'd be like, man, I'm just gonna make a million nukes and fly them. Oh, that's I just make weird stuff, and I'd make.
I would just like start a new game and say, give all sciences, give $1 billion, then just build 10 mechs, and then run around going boom, 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 boom. Okay.
But yeah, I kind of want to play some more Civ 4 with you people. But it is not the show about Civ 4, nor is it the show about Pokemon.
No.
It's the show about Bionic Commando, bitches.
That's right. So, we talked about it, I think, once on the show, but, Bionic Commando, that's Rim's game.
Yeah, I mean, Mega Man 2 is Scott's game. Bionic Commando is my game.
That's right. And they're making a new Bionic Commando game. And from what it looks like, from what I've heard, the new 3D Bionic Commando game they're making doesn't look too good. I don't know. I never played it. But what I've heard is that it's not too good. It's got wonky controls, et cetera, et cetera. But it does have one positive, in that Bionic Commando in the 3D game is being voice acted by Steve Blum.
Oh, man.
Voice actor of Spike Spiegel.
From Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
Also, Roger Smith.
Also Roger Smith.
And Papa from Initial D.
Yes, among other awesome roles. Best English voice actor of animations and video games ever. Anyway.
Crispin Freeman's close, but he doesn't quite transcend him.
In addition to this new 3D Bionic Commando game, which you can ignore, they're coming out with a game called Bionic Commando Rearmed, which is a remake of the original Bionic Commando, but with updated graphics and sound.
There have been a lot of rumblings about this, and I was looking forward to it in a big way because I love Bionic Commando is real near and dear to me. But I really I couldn't say whether or not they went in the right direction. I couldn't say for sure if they were going to pull an awesome or if it was just going to be the same game kind of reskinned.
Well, supposedly, from what people say, it is the same game, only reskinned.
Yes, but I think the video that Scott showed me a little while ago has proven that this game is going to be one of the greatest games ever made.
Yes, and the thing is, I thought this was going to be the kind of game where you could only buy it on like Xbox Live for $10, but no, you can buy it on the PC for $15 at directtodrive.com.
15. I was already willing to spend about $100 on that game.
I just bought it. It's probably downloaded by now.
Oh my gosh! The only reason it'll probably run on my laptop.
So this game, I'm going to give you the rundown. Basically, you can get everything I'm about to tell you by watching the launch trailer.
Watch this video. Half the time, I come home, ready to do the show, and Scott says, hey, oh my God, you got to come into my room and watch this video. Oh my God, you got to watch this video. And usually I ignore him, but
maybe
I walked in there.
Maybe you shouldn't ignore me.
Because half the time it's something stupid. But this time,
when is it something stupid?
But this time, this video, I about had a nerdgasm.
Yeah.
The music, the music alone proves that they know what they are doing.
Yep. So here's the lowdown, right? It's Bionic Commando, the original game, pretty much unchanged. You can't jump, you can shoot, you have to use the arm. The layout of the game is the same. The graphics are updated, but the feel and the control is unchanged. Right? There's even like bugs in the control that are still there. It's so, true to form. They added some co-op action. They added some multiplayer action. They updated the musics. They added some extra sort of challenge levels, sort of like how Portal has like the extra challenge levels. Like, hey, get through this little virtual reality training map we made using your little hook arm there. And it's $15 on the PC, but it's also on PS3 and Xbox. If you have any of those systems and a controller, you should buy it. There's no reason not to, unless you're a dumbass. You're poor.
I feel like, because Mega Man 9 and now this, we're on the cusp of a renaissance of 2D gaming. And in fact, you notice in this video at the end, they're like, classic 2D gaming.
Right. Now check this, right? There's a common link between Bionic Commando Rearmed and Mega Man 2.
Oh, what could it be?
The link is Capcom. You see, I'm looking around these days, and I'm seeing Nintendo pulling the epic fail. I mean, the Wii...
Epic fail for gamers.
Right.
Epic win for money.
Right, but the Wii is pretty much, going... I mean, what's coming out for Wii? I mean, even when there's a drought on a Nintendo system, like even when the GameCube was in a drought, and there were like 3 or 4 months where no games came out for it that I wanted... There was always a game on the horizon that I knew about that was coming that I wanted to get.
I can't think of any Wii game I'm looking forward to.
What Wii game is coming?
Granted,
name a Wii game that's coming that I want?
what is the Wii right now? It's a Smash Brothers machine if you're us, or possibly if you're not us and you're old, it's like one of those Wii waggle game.
Right.
That's
well,
it.
in my thing of the day, I'm going to talk about some Wii action, but the Wii isn't doing much there. And the 360 and stuff, there's some games over there. The PC has some games. The PS3 actually has some games. Wii, not so much. The DS has a couple games on the horizon, like Fire Emblem DS already came out in Japan. It should come out here, I guess by the end of the year. I'm just guessing, though. I haven't seen a date on that, But the DS is in a little bit of a drought, kinda. But my little flash card is helping me play some games from Japan that I wouldn't pay for.
Yeah, you can touch those witches.
Yeah, witch
But
touching.
it's just Capcom. They know what they're doing.
Capcom is busted out. Not only they got the Bionic Commando rearmed, not only they got the Mega Man 9 they're coming out with, right? Have you seen the Street Fighter 4, 5, whatever, the 3D Street Fighter that looks like the 2D Street Fighter?
Man, I'm excited.
Have you seen the Tatsunoko versus Capcom where they got it's like Ultraman and beating up on M. Bison? I mean, come on. Capcom is pretty much number one in gaming right now. I declare it so. And, I was sort of just kind of like, yeah, Capcom's cool, but I'm slowly becoming a Capcom fan, like double that what I was before.
Now, especially with this 2D thing, because, like I said, I think we're on the cusp of a kind of, not just 2D, but a renaissance of genres and types of games that existed and were popular that just kind of disappeared as, 3D games came, adventure games kind of disappeared, 2D platformers disappeared, except for Castlevania.
I also recently read this article, it might have been on Kotaku or something, where they were talking about how Capcom has a system that they develop on, like the way they program their stuff, to where they make games on the Capcom thing, and it makes doing cross-platform stuff real easy. Which is part of why Capcom is so wicked awesome, is that they can get these cross-platform things to work so well, by sort of doing this separation. I'm not going to get into it. It's not Monday.
Yeah. But
Capcom's really good lately. They've upgraded times 10.
Because, the big problem I had, and we've talked about this a lot of gamers in our generation talk about this, how when 3D came and, casual gamers, and there's a lot of reasons people say, oh, it was this, it was that, but 2D games, and it was kind of like radio, where video appeared and people just forgot about radio, but it did not necessarily obsolete radio, or at least audio, because, the case in point, driving my car, I can't watch a movie or play a game, but I can sure as hell listen to something.
That's right.
And 2D gaming was the same thing. That you can they did not make the best 2D game ever and say, well, we've made them all, we're done. And they're finally coming back. And I'm so excited about this Bionic Commando game.
Yeah. In addition to the Bionic Commando game, which you should buy, Bionic Commando Rearmed, just go to bioniccommando.com, whatever. The Mega Man 9, right? I learned something, because again, I have this DS flash card that lets me play games illegally that I did not pay for, which is pretty much its only use, unless you don't have a handheld device and you need homebrew. But if you have an iPod or an iPhone, you don't need that stuff. I talked about it last time. Mega Man 9 is being made by the same programming development team that brought you all the Mega Man Zero games. Now, the Mega Man Zero games are games I knew about but never played. They're basically real 2D Mega Man games in the line of Mega Man X and such, but they're for the GBA and the DS. There were 4 Mega Man Zeros for the GBA, and there were 2 Mega Man ZXs for the DS, ZX and ZX Advent. I had always known about these games and always kind of wanted them and never played them. Of course, I just obtained them illegally to play on my DS illegal flash card, right? And they're all fucking awesome. Like, holy shit. It's like they're totally the underground Mega Man awesomeness of greatness. So if those are the people making Mega Man 9, it's going to be awesome. I just know it.
And I've been playing through Mega Man 2 and 3 to kind of regain my Mega Man skills so that when 9 comes out, I can play it.
What skills?
You know
Regain?
what?
You mean gain or initially?
I can say this. I did beat 2 and 3 at some point in my life. That's
yeah,
more
it doesn't
than
mean you beat them skillfully.
Hey,
you probably
hey.
beat 2 on normal, because people don't realize this. When you play Mega Man 2 in the US on an NES, it says at the beginning, normal or difficult. realized in Japan it was only difficult. That normal was added for U.S. wusses.
Well, I can say this though, that I wasn't the best Mega Man guy, but take the average gamer out today, like a 15, 16-year-old kid, put him down in front of Mega Man 2 and let's see how far they get.
No way. Well, first, you have to tell them what order to fight the guys in. But
I'll give them that
probably,
much.
I imagine most would get to
Granted, I am a quick man first kind of guy.
No, Metal Man first, Quick Man first, you're an idiot.
There's no reason not to. You can beat him trivially with a P.
No, you got to go in with the F to freeze him up to take away half his life.
But I can just kill him with the P.
Yeah. You go to freak because you want to save all the E's. So you got to go to.
I don't need an E. I use my P.
Anyway, you go to Metal Man first. If you're not no, because you need the 3 at the beginning of Quick Man's level to get the 1-up.
Oh yeah.
So,
but I can get a bunch of 1-ups by killing dudes. So what do I care about some 1-up?
There's
somewhere?
a very
E is worth a lot more than a 1-up.
All right. Anyway, you go to Metal Man first. I imagine most people playing Mega Man 2, if they knew to go to Metal Man first,
who's next? Woodman.
They would get Bubbleman.
Why not Woodman?
Because you need heat to beat Woodman in one shot.
But I don't care. You beat him trivially with the Metal Man. You can jump over his stuff.
You need the metal
Hey, don't worry, because I have my crazy best way to beat Zelda that I don't even want to get into.
Metal Man, Bubble Man, Airman, Heat Man, Woodman, Crash Man, Flash Man, Quick Man. That is the one true path.
Right. So there's this article that was linked to on Slashdot. I don't want to talk a lot about the article because basically the idea is that we have virtual worlds now, and these people want to
like Venus.
I mean, like, I don't know, MMOs. These people want to create some sort of repository of the history of these worlds. The same way you save the history of the real world or the history of anything, that there should be some sort of archive of things that happen in these virtual worlds for future generations to look at. And
so they want to be WoW historians?
Well, I don't want to get into all the details of that because I've noticed something very interesting, that this is kind of I bring up the article just to talk about the thing I wanted to talk about anyway. But especially with some of the new MMOs, and then some of this is kind of being like retconned or backpatched into WoW, but the idea that people want this sort of record. I mean, look at Civ 4. People love the fact that when you beat the game or lose, it gives you this whole history of everything you did, everything everyone else did, and you watch these graphs, and you look at all these statistics, and on this day you founded this city, and in this year you killed this guy, and all that business. And gamers today seem to really, really, really get a nerdgasm over this sort of infinite statistical information about everything they do in any game ever. And I feel like eventually there is going to be some sort of market or some sort of unified data collection thing for all these statistics, and people will have their gamer card that will include, I don't know, everything they've ever done in a game. The problem is I hate all the games that kind of require that. So, I mean, what are you going to get? Rim killed a rat. Rim killed a rat. Rim killed a rat. Rim killed a rat. Rim is now level 2. Rim killed a spider.
Spider's level 2. Whoa, Rim got eaten by a spider. You gotta kill rats to level 5. What are you doing?
I stole that blatantly from Slashdot, but it's just, I don't know, the article, it's weird. Like, this article didn't really say much and kind of went in a bunch of directions, and they were talking about The Matrix Online like that was actually a game that people played.
Yeah, no one played that.
And how the death of Morpheus was this big deal there, and I don't know.
Yeah, see, the thing is that in all those games, right, if you want to keep down the history, not as Rim is talking about statistically, but the history as in the story in these virtual worlds, what happened plot-wise, it's not like the history of the real world where it's something that happens as the result of the combined doings of all humans and all societies.
No, if there were an MMO like that, I would play it.
Right. It's the written work of the creators of the MMO. It's like they wrote a book. Oh, we're going to write a history as if their book that they wrote was real.
No, but at the same time, there were player things like when there was that funeral in WoW and all those people jumped it. That's important history.
Oh, yeah, so important.
Or when Lord British got killed.
Oh, so important.
Of course, then again, that brings up the whole other issue that anytime someone does something awesome in an MMO, like when those dudes murdered Lord British, instead of rolling with it and making the MMO awesome and cool, they usually just get super reactionary and ban a bunch of people.
Yeah. When there's an MMO where the story of the world is a rich story, that is written by the players simply by playing.
And don't tell me EVE Online, because I've read EVE Online things, but then I've seen EVE Online, and the two do not link up.
Yeah, I read all this stuff about EVE Online, like the Escapist used to write, like, oh, the
The
syndicates.
Escapist, I believe you mean EVE Online magazine.
Right. Well, it's also home of zero punctuation, so it's not all bad.
Well, yeah, but he's not in the magazine.
No, he's not. Well, it is an online magazine, so he kind of is.
But
anyway,
he's not really.
I think he writes. I don't know. Anyway, the point is that they talk about all these things that happen in EVE Online, supposedly syndicates, stealing from each other, insiders, spying, right? Anyone I've ever watched play EVE Online has a spaceship. They fly around to asteroids mining them, and then they bring the rocks back and sell them and repeat. They basically go around mining for rocks on asteroids and meteors or whatever and selling them what they mined over and over and over to get lots of money, and that's all the people do. So don't give me that this shit is going on. It might be, but the people playing the game are mining rocks to get money. They're not doing shit.
I still feel like gamers want this stuff. I mean, I remember back when in the kind of heyday of Quake 1, Quake 2 FPSs, you'd go to the CLQ and it would gather statistics from every Quake server. If you played on any Quake server, your stats and what you did would end up there. And it was kind of the definitive record of who was awesome. And actually, not that many people gamed it back then. I don't know if it was because people just didn't think to or didn't know to.
Yeah, set up your own server. Set up a bot that stands there. Shoot it 1,000 times. You get 1,000 frags.
I did that by accident once. We were kind of playing around, just like messing around. Like I hosted a server and a few of us were just playing around on it and like, 1,000,000 points if you do this and blowing stuff up and millions of bots.
Like you just set up your own server. How did the CLQ know about it?
I forget exactly how it worked. It was a long time ago. But sure enough, my server showed up in the roll of servers. And actually, because of that, for about a month afterward, people kept trying to connect to me and play on my server, even though my server wasn't running anymore. But
the olden days.
Oh, the olden days.
Not like now where you have Steam that lets you know what the server's up to.
But I feel like WoW, this is one of those tiny things that it's not going to kill WoW, that other like MMOs that come out in the future are going to have this. But this is going to be one more of those things that is going to be done better by whatever it is that replaces WoW. And I guess watch out for the game that does this well, because I think that's going to be the beginning of a shift toward a different kind of online gaming, different kind of content.
The one game I feel where a rich history is written simply by playing it, the only game that I can see like that, actually.
Burning Wheel.
Well, no. Is Dwarf Fortress. And I think if those elements, of course, there's a lot wrong with Dwarf Fortress, but if you take those elements of Dwarf Fortress to the MMO realm, I think that is the right way to have a virtual world in which a rich story is written simply by people playing the game.
Wait, just take Dwarf Fortress, right? Rewrite it so it's optimized. Simplify it a little, like a tiny bit. Give it a good interface, make it massive in multiplayer and stateful, and just...
Everyone is one dwarf?
Either that, I'd make 2 games. You can play as one dwarf, but there's also kind of the world building thing, and, just...
Yeah, how about that? Giant world, everyone has a dwarf as their own fortress of dwarves.
I like that idea a lot. And have it forever. One dwarf, because the thing about Dwarf Fortress is no matter how powerful you are, you eventually fall. So the game would kind of self-balance, and I just can imagine...
That's true, because in Dwarf Fortress, you're gonna lose. No matter how awesome you are, you're gonna lose. So
you wouldn't need to do wipes. You wouldn't need to scale or change things. There just might be a period of a year where one Dwarf Fortress is like the giant fortress, but eventually Resentment builds and other fortresses, and oh my god, I would play this game to the exclusion of life.
We'd die.
I think I would die.
So... until this game comes out and we're no longer able to do anything else, let us continue podcasting.
So right along with that, things of the day. Slayer, 8-bit, that's all I need to say.
Yeah, I posted this in the forum. It's all right.
Yeah, I like 8-bit music, and especially, this isn't the kind of music I would listen to, like, on my iPod or anything.
It's really not something anyone would listen to, but it's just a funny video.
It's not just that. It's the kind of music that it really brought back memories of old video games, because it wasn't done in the kind of like mechanized supremacy. Let's make music in the style.
They clearly took an NES sound chip or an emulation of an NES sound chip.
Definitely an emulation because they do some funny things that wouldn't have been easy to do in the hardware.
And create recreate, Slayer song.
This was not a song you would listen to listen to music so much as it is a work of art created in homage to an era long since past.
Yes.
And also to Slayer.
So, I was talking about how the Wii's been having a serious drought, not much action going on, and you bought a Wii. You got it sitting there. You want to use it for something, right?
It's been off since we got back from the cons.
Well, actually, that Strong Bad game came out, so I'm going to play that eventually.
Yeah, I got to turn it on to play some more Mega Man.
Yeah, but which is a GameCube game. Because you have the Mega Man Anniversary Edition.
Yep.
Actually, Mega Man 1 just came out on Virtual Console recently.
Fuck that game.
That's right.
I never beat it. I never even came close to beating
beat it.
That game was so hard.
I beat it once, and
I
it is
never
hard.
saw Gutsman.
Wow, really?
Granted, I haven't played the game since I was a kid, and I gave up real quick because I had
Because
already.
usually the game doesn't get really hard until you fight the yellow blob guy with the eyeball.
Because I'd beaten Mega Man 3 and Mega Man 2 and Zelda 2, and then I finally got Mega Man 1, like at a yard sale somewhere, or a garage sale. And I'm like, oh man, Mega Man 1, this started, wow, this is hard. Oh my god, Cutman is hard. Ah! And then I just gave up.
Yep. So, all right. The Wii's kind of useless now. So, what am I going to do with the Wii? I got to make use of it. I'm going to do the homebrew action. Now,
Are you?
Yeah, I am. The homebrew for the Wii now is actually even easier than the homebrew for the DS because
wow.
You don't have to buy anything. Here's what you do. I'm going to sum it up for you, but I'm going to link you to the site that tells you everything in great detail. You basically take an SD card, put it in your computer. On the SD card, you put these files. You go to your Wii. You go to your Twilight Princess save game, and you overwrite your Twilight Princess save game with these files, right? Then you open up Twilight Princess and load the fake save game. And of course, this vulnerability, this buffer overflow in the Twilight Princess, and now the save game basically got root, and now, writes itself, runs whatever it wants on the Wii, and it installs the homebrew channel. And then the homebrew channel can do whatever it wants because it's a channel, right? So it does all sorts of stuff. The reason it's the thing of the day, because I think I may have talked about it on the show before I remember, is because they have recently added to the homebrew channel DVD playback with M-Player.
Whoa.
So if you put this homebrew channel in with the DVD-X and M-Player, you can then put a DVD in your Wii and play that DVD in M-Player on the Wii using your Wiimote as the remote control, the on-screen display. And for anyone who doesn't have, a computer and plugged into their TV and maybe has a standalone DVD player taking up a lot of space next to their Wii, now your Wii can be a DVD player, and you'll save a lot of room. And it's a good idea because it doesn't, you just need an SD card and a Wii. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to playing with this and not having to do any of the setup because it sounds like it's pretty easy to set up.
It's stupidly easy. The only thing I'm worried about is will I lose my Twilight Princess save game? Because I did beat it and I have it saved at the end.
Do you care?
A tiny bit.
Can you back it up?
I'm gonna back it up, but I wonder if I overwrite the the save game again. Like I could back up the save game to an SD card, right? And just put that aside while I do this.
Whether or not you lose your save game is available online in information form.
I'm sure.
I'm sure there's some bulletin board where someone said, will I lose my save game? And some guy said yes or possibly no.
Yeah. We'll find out. If someone knows, just let me know so I don't have to do the research. I don't have time.
But there's something much more important than that. You see, from 1861 to 1865, give or take, there was a war in the U.S.
A war of northern aggression?
A war of northern aggression. And, pretty much the most important thing to come out of that war was a game on the NES called North and South.
Not a huge documentary.
No.
Not a freeing of enslaved people.
No, definitely not the establishment of federalism, the impeachment of Johnson afterward, Reconstruction, all that Gilded Age business. No. It was definitely North and South for the NES. Oh my God, did I love that game as a kid. Oh my God.
So check this out. I was at like some relatively distant relative's house, right? The kind of person you never go to their house, really. I think I only went to the house once in my life. And of course, I don't know these people. I don't care about these people. I spent my time playing on their NES, because that's what you do when you went to another kid's house you didn't know. You found their NES and you played the games they had you never seen before. And one of the games they had was North and South, and I was playing it, and I didn't understand it at the time, but I played it a lot, and I liked it. And then, I sort of lost it, and I was like, what was that game? But I remembered it. I remembered this game, but I forgot what it was.
I owned it, just like Desert Commander.
See, but then I was at a Blockbuster, and I saw it, and I'm like, that's it! And I rented it like 3 times, and that was the most I played it back then, but then I emulated it later, and that's that.
You know what? I realized something. There was something that used to happen when you rented games that cannot happen anymore. And to this day, I lament its loss.
Just looking at someone else's save game?
Yes, I remember specifically one time, because Crystalis, I didn't know.
You can get that experience by buying used copies of Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's not, the mystery and the majesty of when I rented Crystalis for the second time, because that game was fucking hard and fucking long, and I didn't own it at the time. So I rented it, and I go to play, and I go, hey, wait a minute, load. And someone was at top level at the end of the game. And I spent my entire weekend of the rental casting Fly and flying around and psychicking people.
Yep.
I didn't beat the game because I didn't know where to go. But and I remember I rented Earthbound, and the guy's superpower was beer. And I thought that was really funny when I was a little kid. That's all I got.
All right.
Anyway, North and South is a perfectly accurate, completely strategic simulation of the Civil War.
Oh, really? Well,
actually, you know what?
Then that's all we need to say.
You know what? I like North and South. This falls into the category of games I love, but are shitty.
Right. Back in the day, all right, so let me explain the way this game works. The game can either be played 1 or 2 player. If it's 1 player, you control either North or South. And if it's 2 player, obviously someone else controls the other side.
Yeah, and of course, we're only talking about the NES version. I doubt many of you played any of the other versions. There
are other versions. We're only talking about the NES version. That's the only one we've ever played. And it is the Civil War. There's a map, and you have soldiers, and you move the soldiers around to capture cities. You can go and capture the other guy's cities. You can fight the other guy. Or you can get reinforcements, with various methods. The South just has boats that come over. The North...
No, not quite.
Yeah.
No, that's not how that works.
Anyway, there are trains full of money that you can loot to get money, which helps you out. There are forts. You can go for forts, and you have to play this little flag game. And there's all sorts of other random shit that happens, like the native, or is he a Mexican? I forget.
No, there's 2. Well, did you actually play this game?
I did. It was just a long time ago.
See, the boats were the French. You could turn them on or off. And whoever controlled the territory where the French would show up, and it was always the same territory, randomly France would come by and just drop off some troops. But the thing is, the game was really, it was like a whole bunch of different games, and it was close to being a good game. When you raided that train, that was so much fun, because it was basically you had your one dude, and you're running, and you pretty much got to get to the front of the train before the time runs out. And meanwhile, the other guy...
if you do, you get a lot of money, which helps you out a lot.
The other guy you also deny the guy money.
Yep.
Your opponent. But the other guy has a million dudes who he has to jump on the train and try to punch you off the train and make you fall off and lose.
And if he kills you enough times, you don't make it. Or, if he prevents you from making it in time, he wins.
Man, my brother and I played, because my brother and I played North and South a lot. And it would get to the point where it would come down to the second, 1 second, you're almost there. I have peed myself a few times trying to get to the end of that thing as a kid.
Yeah, and basically, they come at you.
So
I think they have 15
frustrating.
units to fight you off with.
It's designed to be so incredibly ball-bustingly frustrating.
Yeah. So they also have the fort, which is a very similar thing, only instead of being on a moving train, you're in a fort, and you get to the end of the fort, and you pull the flag down and replace it with your own flag, and then you basically capture that place, and it's totally awesome.
Also ball-bustingly frustrating.
It's basically the same thing as the train.
I'd be like, all right, I'm running. Oh, Scott knifed me. I'm laying on the ground. Okay, I'm back up. Ah, shit, a dog. Dynamite. A dog again. Dynamite. I got knifed again. The time's out. Fuck.
Yeah, but you could get really good at attacking and defending, and the game would be real tight. Real tight.
Of course, the meat of the game was, you move your troops around, control territories. None of that really meant much because...
It was really simple.
You had
stupidly simple.
You'd have 2 or 3 armies. You could combine them into bigger armies. But you see, I remember as a kid, the realization I had, and Scott had this realization when I did it to him the first time we played North and South.
I sort of had the realization.
Yeah, but it came into stark relief when our armies engaged. You fired off all your cannon shots because the cannons are basically useless. And all I did was, one, I blew up the bridge. I positioned my infantry in front of the only other way to get across. And then I said, I am not moving until you give up and declare me the winner.
Yeah.
And there's no way to beat that.
Yeah, it's pretty much the actual battles between armies in the game are a stalemate unless someone does something dumb. I mean, maybe you could get really if you were really good with that controller, you could like shoot them with a cannonball and then get your horses over there, but good luck with that. It's not going to work out in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, the computer could control all three at the same time, but on the NES, you could only control the infantry, the cavalry, or the cannon at a time.
Yeah, you can't control three
You
simultaneously.
watch people play, and it's like, all right, the infantry, cannon, oh, my horses are in the water, shit, up.
So if they've got their infantry sitting on the other side of the only bridge, if you can't hit them with your cannonballs, you can't really do anything because they can shoot, so your horses can't rush them fast enough. And your infantry, if you start moving in on them, the best you can hope for is their infantry kill your infantry. Then what are you going to do?
Thing is, the game is still super fun.
It is way fun.
Despite the fact that the game actually really, really sucks. I had a lot of fun with it. And
There's a lot of random shit, like Stink just waking up killing you, waking up helping you.
If you're in college, just grab a friend, get a ROM, and play this game, and just have some fun with it.
The game also has lots of different settings that you can do. You can play different years, so the game starts out differently. You know, maybe the North is real strong, the South is real strong, you know, earlier on.
Yeah, 1864 is pretty much the North wins, and there is no 1865.
Right.
Oh, and you could... on the start screen, you could poke the photographer in the butt.
Yep. And you would take a picture.
He'd go, ah! No, he'd actually go, badoop badoop.
Oh, that's right.
He'd go, badoop badoop, badoop badoop.
Yep. And it was pretty cool because it's like it was almost like it's like a wanted to be a strategy game, but it wasn't actually it was sort of a random strategy game, and there are all these settings you could change.
And all this weird, like when you beat the game, it's like sometimes the text would just like spin around backwards and weird stuff would happen. And
yeah, it had this really catchy music. Like, there wasn't a lot of music, but what there was... Yeah, and then like whenever I think it was when the Mexican or when the Native American woke up to do their thing, it'd be like
The game got a lot of points for style, I'll say that.
A lot of points. It was really cartoony, Civil War, jokey action. And slaves didn't come into it at all.
Nah. And the thing is, if you're going to play this game, don't play, like if you take it seriously, you'll have the one game where you just have a standoff and then everyone realizes it doesn't work. And then, you know, an hour later, someone says, fuck this.
This is a game to be played for silly.
Yes, as in, I'm totally going to send that one infantry over and let's see what happens, or let's duel.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much when there's a battle going down, you just got to go for it. You know, send your horses over and go, yeah, you know. Use your infantry as defense. I mean, because they're really, you know, try to offense with those guys. They're just going to get blowed up.
You watch the game play and it's so, like, the combat is so fiddly and hilarious. Because, like, I'll have my infantry and Scott will have his. And everyone's like, step forward, shoot back up, step back, and those kind of go back and forth, and no one actually dies.
I love the cavalries because they just sort of stand there. But as soon as you activate them, they go, do, and then they start swinging their little swords around in a circle.
Yeah, you got to hit A to actually make them swing.
I know. It's good stuff. And you can either get the horses to go in a horizontal line or in a straight vertical line.
Yeah, you could also change the formation. I mean, it was kind of complex. You could change the formation of the infantry and the cavalry.
Yeah. The infantry formation was either 2x3 or 3x2.
Yeah, but
not a big change.
As you start having them die and you get weird lines and
yeah. But it was always good because I would keep the cavalry in a straight line, you know, to sort of help them defend. They would, you know, that way you couldn't kill them all at once. But then as soon as I got over to the other side and I was ready for attack, you know, actually hitting people, I'd put them in a vertical line. That way I could kill more guys at once. I go,
Sadly, I don't have a lot more to say about the game.
I know. I thought we were going to do a whole show. I was like, yeah, it's a great old retro game.
I think the problem is it's a great game.
Yeah.
Are there any other games like that are like they're really fun, but they're not good games?
And no one knows about them?
I mean, Desert Commander's old and really fun, but that's basically Advance Wars.
Yeah. Games like North and South.
There aren't that many. I mean, there's a lot of serious strategy games like Gemfire.
Yes.
Or Nobunga's Ambition.
We could have Fantasy Empires.
Yeah, except Fantasy Empires isn't fun because to actually complete a game of it because of
Takes forever.
It takes like days because basically there's a million territories on the map and it takes like 10 turns to muster enough troops to take like one of them.
Yeah.
The thing is that game had so much potential.
I really think that a modern remake of Fantasy Empires would be pretty great.
Yeah.
Fantasy Empires is an old DOS game. I think it was D&D related.
Yes, it was based on Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, and it was a strategy game, we're conquering territories, turn-based stuff, but there was also magic and mana and all this sort of D&D stuff. And there's like this wizard at the top of the screen who always told you what was going on.
That was the Dungeon Master.
You look like an evil wizard to me.
That's what Dungeon Masters look like.
Yeah, it's like this good old DOS game. I don't know, maybe you could find it at like that Home of the Underdogs website or something.
I've got it. I've got all the floppies.
We had the floppy disk.
That game crashed to all fuck.
If you can get the floppy disk, it'll work in DOSBox.
No, it'll crash because it crashed in the real world on the real DOS. It crashed all the time.
I'm sure it'll work in DOSBox just fine.
It'll work as well as it worked on the DOS, meaning it would crash all the time.
Maybe your floppy disks are damaged.
No, the game was just really poorly written.
But I do think a modern remake of Fantasy Empires could be good shit.
Oh, most definitely.
So could a modern remake of North vs. South.
I'd love to see a North and South like Forcomey.
Yeah, if you took the idea of North versus South, which is basically turn-based strategy, but it's really simple. You have all the units are the same. They're all just armies. And you can group them up to make a double army or a triple army.
It's turn-based strategy, but the wall of strategy breaks down pretty quickly, and beyond that is action game.
Yeah, it's pretty much
mini games.
When you actually want your army to do something, right? You have to play some sort of mini game related to
Wait a minute. Instead of going silly, if we went a little more serious, take the ideas of Puzzle Pirates and couple it with a game like this. So instead of having a dumb mini game that's, basically, I'm going to stand here until you have to poop and give up. It turns into posture. Now we play a versus puzzle game, and then we continue posturing after the puzzle game.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, you actually want to fight now, huh? All right, well, you got 3 armies and I got 2. We're going to play this action game that's completely unrelated to war, but I have a 3-2 advantage at the start. Because I have a bigger army. Let's go.
Yeah, Puzzle Pirates plus North and South equals a game Rim would play.
Yeah, we can do that. A little turn-based.
Yes, we are going to do that.
A turn-based strategy where all the actual direct conflicts are between things.
Yes, Scott,
are decided by mini games.
So we are going to code this game as opposed to the hundreds of other games we've come up with every single goddamn day.
Yes.
Oh yeah, one more thing before we actually stop, I guess. Since
this incredibly disappointingly short show.
What are we gonna say? Go play this game. You'll be pleasantly undisappointed.
Yeah, get a NES emulator or whatever.
But I gotta say one thing. On Friday, August 22nd, from 4 to 10 p.m., bands at 7 p.m. in the Bellmawr Fire Hall at 12 F6 Avenue in Bellmawr, New Jersey. There's going to be a mini gaming convention put on by basically the staff of Katsucon's Video Gaming.
So if you go to Katsucon for the video game action and, that you're not looking for the rest of the Katsucon action, basically the Katsucon game room is going to, I guess it's not associated with Katsucon in any way, but it's effectively going to be like the Katsucon game room.
Yes, remember, the video game staff at Katsucon are freaking badasses, and that is like the best non-board gaming convention. Like, it's so good. They know what they're doing. They're like the best staffers I've ever dealt with, except for like the high-up Otakon people.
Yeah.
And it's not just a video game thing. They've got Peelander Z and Fatty Like Cake. X Hunters is going to be there.
So they got some bands, they got some musics, they got some video games.
They have a buy-in cash prize video game tournament.
Pretty good.
They got a bunch of sponsors. It's going to be a big deal.
If I was down in Jersey, I might be going.
We originally had planned, we wanted to be there and kind of MC the thing and do the kind of Geeknights thing, but it's this week. It's, this weekend. We had Otakon last weekend and Kineticon the weekend before and PAX the weekend after this
Actually,
weekend.
Otakon was 2 weekends ago.
Oh, yeah, but we were at the shore the weekend after that.
That's right.
Yeah, well, we were in Atlantic
So we were
City.
in Jersey on the wrong. If we would have stayed at the shore for another week, we could have just gone to this thing.
Yeah, but if any of you are anywhere near Bellmawr, North Jersey, You probably want to be there. We will not be there, but everyone here is going to be awesome. I cannot recommend to you enough. Friday, August 22nd, 4 to 10 p.m., the battle at Bellmawr.
In addition to this, I just want to remind people, if you met us at a convention and you didn't know what Geeknights was and you're listening for maybe your first time or whatever, it's Tuesday. It's a gaming show. Tomorrow's going to be an anime show, mostly an Otakon review.
Otakon.
Thursday is going to be who knows what. And also, people, if you're not in the forums, go sign up for a forum account.
Yes, we need
and say stuff.
We need some fresh blood in the forums. People forums. Forum people are often people who do not listen to the show. Meanwhile, the thousands of you out there who do listen are not in the forums. I wonder why. I really do. I don't have any sort of pithy reason.
Yeah, I mean, do you just not like talking to people? I mean, you're bored. You're going to be bored at work for at least 5 minutes or something.
That's why you listen to Geeknights. You're bored at work. I mean, duh.
Right. Well, you could just be in the car, but you have, you have a computer. You're coming to our website or something. You found us somehow. You're listening to this. Go to frontrowcrew.com/forums. Go there and click sign up, and you get an account. And then you might get an email that says you're approved. You might not. But if you're a real person, you're approved pretty quickly. So even if you don't get the email, just come back, sign in with the username and password you made up, and talk to us. We are there. We talk. You can talk to us.
Yeah, we actually do post in our own forums.
Yeah, it's not like you're just talking to other listeners. You're also talking to us, and it's pretty cool, and there's fun stuff there, and you'll see things of the day.
More importantly, our forum is not
you can discuss the episodes. So if you want to talk about North vs. South or Bionic Commando rearmed.
But no, more than anything, our forum is not like other forums. I'm not going to even try to explain why. Just if you go to our forum and look at it, pretty quickly, you'll see why our forum is not like other forums.
Yeah, even if you don't have an account, you can go and just look at the forums and read all the posts without writing anything. But if you want to write something, you have to get an account.
Granted, I see a lot of you lurking, so I know you're there.
Yeah, but I think what we might do is we might make some sort of, members-only category where only people with accounts can read that one category.
Yeah.
And, I guess I don't think we would. I might try to find some ways so only we can create the threads that are in that category or something. That way. Because I still want to keep things public. I just want to find some way to give an incentive to people to join. Maybe we'll put secrets in there or something. I don't know.
What secrets are we gonna put? It's a secret to everyone.
I know.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com. Or you can send audio feedback via Audio. Just click the link that says Send Me an Audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.